Have you ever found yourself doubled over in pain after a seemingly innocent glass of milk or a slice of cheese? If so, you might be dealing with lactose intolerance, a common digestive issue that affects millions worldwide. But did you know that there's much more to this condition than meets the eye? From surprising evolutionary insights to lesser-known dietary hacks, there are some fascinating facts you probably never knew you needed. So sit tight, because today we're spilling all the beans, or should I say milk, on lactose intolerance, covering everything from its basic definition to ways to manage it effectively. Trust me, you won't want to miss this. Lactose intolerance is a digestive problem that happens when your body has trouble digesting lactose, a type of sugar found in milk and dairy products. It occurs because of a deficiency in the enzyme called lactase, which is made by the cells lining the small intestine. Normally, lactase breaks down lactose into two simpler sugars, glucose and galactose, which can then be absorbed and used by the body. But without enough lactase, lactose remains undigested, leading to uncomfortable symptoms like bloating, gas, and diarrhea. But hold on a second, isn't milk good for you? Shouldn't our bodies automatically handle it? Well, here's the thing. Unlike many other food-related problems, lactose intolerance isn't actually an allergy. That means it's not caused by an immune reaction to milk proteins like casein or whey. Instead, it's a problem with digesting one of the sugars in milk, lactose. This makes it different from allergies because there's no itchiness or hives involved. Instead, the symptoms come from bacteria in your gut, fermenting the undigested lactose, which produces gases like carbon dioxide, hydrogen, and methane. These gases cause the bloating and flatulence that often accompany lactose intolerance. Now, you might be wondering, why does this happen to some people but not others? Well, it turns out that lactose intolerance is incredibly common, affecting between 35 to 65% of the global population, and that number varies significantly across regions. For instance, in some parts of Asia, lactose intolerance affects up to 90% of adults. In contrast, in Northern Europe, the rate drops to as low as 5%. And the reason behind this global variation lies in our genes. Yes, you heard it right, genes. The ability to digest lactose as an adult is a trait that's passed down through our DNA. And believe it or not, the gene responsible for producing the lactase enzyme has a special version called lactase persistence. This version keeps producing the enzyme even after infancy, allowing adults to digest lactose normally. But not everyone has this version of the gene. In fact, most people outside of Northern European descent don't. As a result, they experience lactose intolerance when they consume dairy products. And it's not just about genes. There are also two main types of lactose intolerance, primary and secondary. Primary lactose intolerance, the most prevalent form, is where your body stops making enough lactase because of a genetic trait, often as you get older. Secondary lactose intolerance, on the other hand, happens when your small intestine gets damaged, stopping it from making enough lactase. This could be due to diseases like celiac disease or Crohn's disease. But don't worry, unlike primary lactose intolerance, secondary lactose intolerance can often be improved by treating the underlying condition. So if you notice symptoms after starting a new medication or going through an illness, it's worth checking in with your healthcare provider to see if that might be the case. Now, let's talk about how lactose intolerance typically shows up in our daily lives. The symptoms usually begin within 30 minutes to 2 hours after consuming dairy products or anything containing milk. Common signs include uncomfortable bloating, excess gas, and an urgent need to use the restroom. If left unchecked, lactose intolerance can lead to more serious complications like dehydration due to frequent diarrhea. It's important to pay attention to these signals because ignoring them can make things worse. Understanding how your body reacts to dairy can help you make informed choices about what to eat and ultimately prevent more significant discomfort later on. Diagnosing lactose intolerance can seem tricky, but there are tests available to help figure it out. One of the most popular methods is the hydrogen breath test, which requires you to drink a solution containing lactose. By measuring the amount of hydrogen in your breath before and after drinking the solution, doctors can determine if you have difficulty digesting the lactose. If you do, A positive correlation between the increased hydrogen levels suggests that you might be lactose intolerant. Another option is the lactose tolerance test, which measures how much lactose you can tolerate before symptoms appear. Both of these tests are considered highly accurate. Additionally, a stool acidity test can be done to check for unabsorbed lactose in your stool, which could indicate lactose intolerance. Finally, genetic testing can reveal whether you have the gene associated with lactose intolerance, providing a quick and non-invasive way to find out if you're lactose intolerant. Managing lactose intolerance involves making some adjustments to your diet and lifestyle. If you suspect you're lactose intolerant, try to limit your intake of high lactose dairy products like milk and ice cream. Pairing dairy with meals can also help because the protein and fat in food can slow down digestion, giving your body more time to absorb the lactose. Another tactic is to start with small servings of dairy and gradually increase the amount as your body adjusts. Opting for low-lactose dairy products like yogurt and aged cheese can also be beneficial. For instance, yogurt contains lactobacilli, which are helpful bacteria that aid in digesting lactose. Aged cheeses have almost no lactose content because it's broken down during the aging process. For those who can't avoid dairy or prefer not to change their diet, there are some alternatives and supplements that might help. Over-the-counter lactase enzyme pills can be taken with or just before a meal to help break down lactose. However, it's crucial to follow the instructions carefully, as taking too much or too little of the enzyme may not provide the desired result. These pills are a great solution for those who occasionally enjoy dairy products and want to minimize discomfort. If you're lactose intolerant, it's also worth exploring plant-based milks like soy, almond, oat, rice, pea, hemp, coconut, or cashew milk as replacements for cow's milk. These options are not only free from lactose, but also offer a range of flavors and nutritional benefits. Incorporating these into smoothies, lattes, or any recipe calling for milk can add variety to your diet while keeping your gut happy. Additionally, choosing lactose-free or reduced lactose versions of your favorite dairy products can be another strategy. Many brands now offer alternatives that cater to those with lactose intolerance, expanding your options and making it easier to enjoy familiar foods. Finally, the idea of gradually exposing your gut to dairy through fermented foods like yogurt or kefir might sound unconventional, but it's rooted in science. By introducing small amounts of lactose-containing foods to your diet, you might be able to help your microbiome adapt over time. It's like teaching your gut to digest dairy better. Start slow and give your body time to adjust. This approach can be especially effective for those who want to maintain a dairy-inclusive diet and improve their lactose digestion. While lactose intolerance is the most common cause of these symptoms, it's essential to consider other conditions that share similar signs. Irritable bowel syndrome, celiac disease, inflammatory bowel disease, and milk allergy are some possibilities that need to be ruled out. Each of these requires a different approach to diagnosis and management, highlighting the importance of consulting a healthcare professional. After all, they have the tools and expertise to guide you toward the right answers and solutions. Don't hesitate to reach out. Your gut will thank you for it. So there you have it, a deep dive into the world of lactose intolerance. Hopefully now you feel more confident in your understanding of this common digestive issue. Remember, lactose intolerance is a manageable condition and shouldn't hold you back from enjoying a diverse diet. By educating yourself, experimenting with different foods, and working closely with your healthcare provider, you can find strategies that work best for you. Thanks for joining me on this journey to gut health. Until next time, stay curious, stay healthy.